Imagine you're a small VR YouTuber, eagerly waiting for the release of an upcoming game, so you can create a video on it and drive traffic to your channel. On the day of the game's release, you put hours of effort and speed into creating a polished video, only to find that the big VR YouTubers have already flooded the search results with videos with production values 10 times higher than yours. You're left feeling frustrated and stumped, wondering how you can compete with these seemingly perfect creators. Well, I can tell you now that the answer is definitely not speed. Instead, the answer lies in understanding a certain document that all VR content creators sign. And with this single document, it is potentially the staple behind why some of your favorite VR games are where they are today. So without further ado, what is this document? This is an NDA, or non-disclosure agreement. For those of you who don't know, an NDA is a legal agreement between two parties that restricts one or both parties from disclosing certain confidential information. In the case of VR content creators and game studios, NDAs are used to prevent the content creators from sharing information about the game before it's released to the public. But what if you're still not getting it? Well, let's put it into practice. Let's say a big VR game studio wants to promote their upcoming game. What they'll typically do is reach out to a select group of VR content creators to give them early access to the game. These creators will then sign an NDA that prohibits them from sharing any information about the game until a certain date, usually the game's release date. This is where your favorite VR YouTubers come in. You know, thrillseeker, VR Oasis, BMFVR, Happy147, all of which have huge outreach and influence in the VR community. And because of this large influence, game studios will often give them early access to their games in exchange for a signed NDA. The idea of this is that the big YouTubers will generate hype and interest in the game when the game is finally released. And this is honestly a super smart tactic and one that is a staple in the VR industry. And the main reason why is normally because if a YouTuber were to talk about the game and generate a crap ton of hype for it when the game isn't ready to be released, overall the game hype will die down. And it's always good to have big VR content creators come in at once so your game can have a massive jumpstart in hype at the beginning of its release. But if we're going back to the story, then there was one thing that almost seemed robotic, and that was that the VR YouTubers all released their videos at around the same time. And I'm sure you're probably asking why they all do this. Now, the reason why is because the NDA usually has a strict embargo date, which is the date that the NDA is lifted and content creators are free to share their videos with the public. So even though they can't release it, content creators are making huge backups of VR videos on this game. So as soon as the game releases, they have mountains of content for lots of viewers to consume, especially those who are trying out the game for the first time and maybe want some tips and tricks or to see a let's play. So it's overall a win-win situation. The big VR content creator wins because he gets a massive influx of people who are interested in the game and therefore interested in their videos. And the game developers get the win because they get more people being driven to their game from the big VR content creators community. And this is kind of just like a basic cycle of how VR content creation and relations with game developers work. But I'm sure if you may or may not have noticed, there isn't really any room for smaller VR YouTubers to enter the space. Sure, they can enter open beta tests and make content on that, and that definitely is a great start and alternative. However, if you are able to get into this type of cycle, the potential returns on views, subscribers, and even if you're monetized money is absolutely huge. And overall only proves how NDAs are one of the most important documents in the VR content creation industry. And before this video ends, I just want to say thank you because we have officially hit 2.8k, which if you don't know is 1/4 of the goal on my way to 5k subscribers. So if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And for those of you who already have, thank you for subscribing. And with that said, my name is Trentic. Thank you for watching this video, and I will be signing out. Peace.